Hello everybody, and welcome back to Boss Battles of Wraeclast, the somewhat comprehensive guide to the various bosses in Path of Exile 2. In today's episode we are looking at Candlemass, who can be located within Ogham Manor. So in order to enter the manor you have to clear through the ramparts after killing the executioner. It doesn't take very long, but some of the enemies on there can be quite difficult. And then once you enter the manor, the actual manor itself is multi-level, so it has 3 different levels. The final boss can be located on the 3rd level. You'll find a kind of like a carriage that will carry you down into the actual boss fight arena. But what we're looking for is the boss just before that, who is called Candlemass, and he can usually be located on the very 1st level. So as soon as you enter the manor from the ramparts, fully clear that 1st level before taking the stairs, you should be able to find Candlemass within there. I do think that there is a very low chance that with the generation of the map, with the random generation, that you might be unlucky and Candlemass might be located on the 2nd level, but I've only ever seen that once. So 9 times out of 10 he's going to be on that 1st level. So if you get to the stairs to get to the next level in the manor and you haven't found Candlemass yet, I'd highly recommend check your minimap for any covered areas on the map that you haven't explored yet, and go back and explore those just in case. Now, for the majority of builds, or for every single build that wants life as one of the main resources, then you're actually going to have a health pool if you're not going to get rid of it by using Chaos Inoculation Keystone. I would highly recommend that you kill Candlemass in both normal and cruel. Candlemass does give a health increase item at the end of his fight, so yeah, he's one of those bosses that I would highly recommend you do both times. If you're a build and if you're a build that's going to use Chaos Inoculation, which is a passive keystone which completely removes all of your life, but also makes you immune to chaos damage, if you're going to go for that build, if you know you're going to go for that kind of build, then you might want to avoid Candlemass, because you don't really need the life passives, but it's up to you. The extra life whilst you're leveling up and going through the normal and cruel difficulties might be useful. But yeah, this is Candlemass. Okay, here is the checkpoint, and you'll notice his boss room has a whole bunch of kind of church pews, and as you enter the room it will say Chapel of the Fallen, of War and Wick he was cursed. You'll see the Psalm of Madness on the back, a kind of placard that you can read, and as you start reading it, the statue itself will come to life and the boss fight will start when he jumps down. Now, Candlemass doesn't have a huge amount of abilities, but they do hit pretty hard with the fire damage, so I'd highly recommend learning how to avoid all of these. But if you're a shield user like myself, don't worry too much, just make sure you're blocking his heavy attacks and you'll be absolutely fine, because a lot of those heavy attacks can be completely blocked if you've got a good shield, and if you've got heavy fire resistance, you don't have to worry about this fight at all. He's pretty easy, I'm not going to lie. So his first heavy attack, he kind of does this backwards spin with his sword, and then flings out this kind of boomerang-shaped fire projectile in a straight line in front of him. So as soon as you see him glow red and start spinning, you might want to dodge to the left or to the right. You'll see him hold his sword above his head, it will kind of glow with some fire damage, and then he'll start spinning. So yeah, as soon as you see him either lift his sword above his head or start spinning, dodge to the left or the right, and you can avoid that projectile completely. His second heavy attack is a fire breath. So you'll see this kind of fire effect in front of his mouth. It looks like he's kind of breathing in, and then he will fire a line of fire in front of him. Again, if you're using a shield, I'm quite surprised you can actually block this. I didn't take a point of damage from that attack, I think, in this whole fight. It's really not that difficult to block whatsoever. Just showcase that now. There you go. That's pretty cool. I quite like that you can block that completely. And then finally, his third heavy attack, which is quite dangerous if you get caught by it. He will kind of bend over a little bit, and then you'll notice the candles on his back start burning quite brightly, and then he'll start firing out multiple projectiles. He's essentially firing the candles off his back to make this big area of effect AoE in front of him. It will be multiple different projectiles firing out, and they'll land in kind of a line of 4, but multiple lines of 4 in a big area. Sometimes those projectiles can land a little bit behind him as well, so the best thing to do is when you see him start charging up that attack, start running behind him and put some distance between the two of you, just to avoid getting hit by those projectiles. Again, I think if you block with a shield in this attack, you can block it completely. But yeah, that's pretty much every major ability that he has. It's not really that dangerous, is Candlemass. I only have about 6% fire resistance, and I'm really not taking that much damage from him whatsoever. If anything, I'm more using this boss to kind of practice some new abilities that I learnt. And yeah, he likes to use that spinning kind of projectile fire attack with his sword a lot. So yeah, when you've killed him, he'll drop his essence, and all you have to do is the same as most other boss items, is you just click it. In normal mode, it gives you 20 max life. In cruel mode, it will give you 8% max life, which is really nice. But yeah, that is Candlemass. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next episode.